and welcome to PvP Legends. I am Large Farva, and this is our Voltz server. We're going to start off our episodes here. We're going to be doing a Zero to Hero, how to be a badass in Voltz in 5 days. This is our latest project. This is a new server for us. It's only been open for a week. And something that I've noticed in just the first week of it being open is that there are a lot of players who just want to be good at the game. They just want to come in, they want to raid, they want to build missiles, and they don't want to get found while they do it. But they make a lot of newbie mistakes. There's a lot of rookie errors going on. And so what I aim at doing here is helping you guys get better at the game without being found so easily, and moving efficiently. Knowing what to build, when to build it, and so that's what this series is going to focus on. So, what we notice more than anything is that players come in, they go straight to random location, and they come out here and they go, dude, 2,000 by 1,000 approximately. This is fine. This is where I'm going to base. This is a cool biome. I'm here. Oh, that looks nice. And that's what they do. They build their base where they find it. Now, where they first spawn. Now, what I'm going to suggest is that you don't do that. I suggest you grab yourself some wood, about a stack, make your way to the ocean, and start traveling out. Find another landmass. Build in the middle of the ocean. Do whatever it takes to get away from the starting zone. Once you get there, you've got food, you've got a stack of wood, and once you get there, you're going to dig down. You're going to put yourself around 20 to 30. I prefer 30 on your Y value. That way, anybody who might end up around you is going to go under you. They're probably digging for diamonds or just mining, caving in general. So we're going to enclose our base and we're going to lay it up off of the bedrock, and over the diamond level so that they don't come barreling through your sidewall. And we're going to make sure it's completely enclosed. I chose the middle of the ocean. It's a good spot. It's hard to find somebody in the middle of the ocean. We are not going to set an F home. We're not going to do F home here. The reason for that is anybody can do F map, and that's going to tell us if somebody's near us. Now, how funny would it be if there was like a base like right next to us? That would have been great. But anybody can do F map and just roll around flying and just F map, F map, F map, looking for people. And eventually, if you have an F home, they're going to find you. So we're not going to use our faction home. We use our faction home for mining and doing other things, and even then it's kind of dangerous because that's a way for somebody to come find you, hit you with a tracker. So we're going to be careful. We're not going to mine out of our base. This game takes a lot of ore. It takes a lot of materials. You're going to go through 500 iron in an hour and just making machines and upgrades, and I mean it's insane what you go through trying to get to that OP status. So if you're mining out of your base, you're going to leave a footprint. Somebody's eventually going to find it. You want to be unraidable, then keep yourself as secluded and hidden as possible. So we've set home here at our base. Now we're going to go back to spawn, and we're only going to bring our essentials: a pick, armor, food, and torches. That's all we need. And then we're going to go mining. Once we get done mining, we're going to come back here to our set home, and we are going to get started on our first machine. Now, this is all about efficiency. This is about getting the job done with as few supplies as possible and being able to move forward. So the first machine we're going to make is our metallurgic infuser. The metallurgic infuser is going to give us the iron to create the rest of our machines. And we'll get to this in a bit. This is a process, though. So we're going to power it with redstone for the first, time that we use it, and it takes 1 coal and 1 enriched iron in order to create 1 steel dust. All right, so we want to try and minimize the amount of materials that we use. So we only put in enough coal to get us exactly what we need, and we only put in enough redstone to get us exactly what we need. We only make as much steel as we absolutely need. After we have enough steel to make our first machines, the first thing we're going to make is our hydrogen setup. Okay, the reason that we're skipping solar, wind, heat, we're not doing any of those generators. The reason that we're doing this is because we're going to need it for later game items anyway. Our centrifuge, our boiler, this is going to be needed in the late game. Those other power supplies, it's efficient to have wind turbines. You have to put them above ground. It's nice to have the advanced solar panels, but somebody's going to see them. This is a good source of energy. It's self-sufficient. It doesn't require being above ground to create, and we're not going to create a heat generator because you don't need it. You don't need it for later game. You use it for a little while, and it's never enough. It doesn't power everything enough, and you end up needing 20 of them in order to get anything good done. So here we go. We're going to make our electric pump. We're going to make our electrolytic separator, and we're going to make our hydrogen generator. Then we're going to make 1 recipe of mechanical pipe and 2 recipes of universal cable. The reason that we make 2 of universal cable is because we have to run it off in order to plug everything else in. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that leaves us two pieces there. So in order to start this, we're going to use our redstone here. It's going to give us power in our pump. Our pump's filling up with water, pumping the water into our electrolytic separator, and this is default. It outputs at hydrogen. We're going to hit dump once to dump oxygen, and then boom, we're going to have, oh, I forgot to give it redstone, give it a piece of redstone, and now we have energy. 300 joules ready and waiting. We no longer need to fill this up with redstone, and we can start to make our enrichment chamber. The reason we go for our enrichment chamber next is because it will turn every ore into 2. This is all about efficiency, okay? So we need to get as much out of every ore as we can. So we're going to make our enrichment chamber next, and then we're going to make our energized smelter. Once we get done with our enrichment chamber, we're going to trash our 2 furnaces because we can use that in the recipe to make the energized smelter. Okay? Once we have finished with the energized smelter, we do have another option. We probably have a few more ores. We have the ability to go into another route. This isn't a very popular route, but it is, it is a play style, and you might decide to go for it. This is a purification chamber. The purification chamber can turn every ore into 3 dust, but it creates an extra process, and it's a choke point. I'll explain the choke point in a bit. In order to hook it up, you have pressurized tube. You need another separator. Set your tube like this, and in this separator you want to output oxygen and you want to dump hydrogen. So we have this, and then we are going to use our universal cable, and we're going to connect power to it, at which point our purification chamber will output the oxygen, turning the ore into dirty clumps. The dirty clumps will then go into a crusher, which you're going to need anyway, but this is a use for it. This would be your next machine if you go this route, and that will create a dirty dust. Your dirty dust will go into the enrichment chamber, and then from there it'll be cleaned up and you can put it into your smelter. The reason that I don't use this process is because it's a choke point. Later on in the game, you're processing mass amounts of supplies, and all these other machines can be turned into elite factories. And an elite factory can do 7 at once. So you can enrich 7, you can smelt 7, you can crush 7, and if you decide to go this route and you're purifying 1 at a time, it just slows down the process so much. Perhaps by the time I get to it, I may have learned a way to, I've been looking to learn how to automate this entire setup. Maybe when we get there, I'll cover that, and maybe this will become more useful. But in the meantime, I prefer to go enrichment chamber, smelter, crusher, and then lastly, osmium compressor. Now your osmium compressor is going to make your obsidian armor. The obsidian, in order to get the obsidian ingot out of this, you need to enrich some obsidian. And this will give you dirty obsidian dust like this. And then you come over here and you can put diamond dust into this guy, and then your dirty obsidian dust into here. And this will give you refined obsidian dust, at which point you pop your refined obsidian dust into here. You use osmium ingots, and this will give you an obsidian bar. Now, at this point, I want you to think that you're going to be upgrading. You have speed upgrades. So every time that you add a speed upgrade, you want this process to go fast. Every time you add a speed upgrade, you want to add an energy upgrade. If you had everything here running on speed upgrades, this would eventually choke out, especially if you were running the purifier. You would, and you're using everything. You're at max capacity. This one generator would max out, and you would start to see a slowdown on everything. That's if you have full speed upgrades on all of it. But if you add full speed upgrades and you add full energy upgrades, then you're going to, it's going to equalize, and you would be able to do all that on one pump setup. In order to expand this, let's just remove that because it's distracting. In order to expand this setup, you do not need to do extra pumps. This one pump will power 80 of these hydrogen setups. All you need to do is lay down new ones, expand the pump out. You can make this go as far as you want. Expand the pump out, add more power, adjust each one to dump oxygen, and you have more power. So as you're going forward, this is your initial setup. This is how you expand your energy. All right? Before we expand our energy in the next episode, we are going to talk about the atomic disassembler and the next step into getting to where you want to go as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please, there's a section below. Just give me a shout. If I taught you anything that you didn't know before, or if you just like the sound of my sexy voice, leave a like. Come, play on our server. And until then, happy raiding. You know, be safe. Good luck and have fun. Large Pharma, signing out.